have just been carried up and out of a large glass container and gently placed on the floor by the souls of the dead. You are all in a long stone hallway stretching to your left and right with arched ceilings 20 feet high. Other people are carried up and out of the glass container and placed on the stone floor until there are apparently not enough souls to support the lid, and it slams down on the top of the container, leaving you and at least 50 other people crammed into an alcove and spilling out into the hallway. For now, at least, everyone is just standing in stunned silence. There appear to be people of all types: elves, dwarves, orcs, humans, male, female, and mixes of all of those. Some are wearing armor, others are clutching a hammer or a rolling pin or a shovel, and some have nothing at all. In the silence, you hear two things. First, a strange, rhythmic rushing and roaring sound, which appears to be coming from outside this structure that you're in. The sound is coming through a large hole in the ceiling, which is apparently collapsed at a point about 50 feet down the hallway to your left. It appears to be very dark outside through that hole, but you can see some small twinkling lights up in the sky. It's cold. The air smells strange. Somewhat like the sea, but different. The second sound you hear is a more rapid but quiet sound of machinery coming from the floor somewhere near the glass container. The hallway is filled with alcoves like the one in which you are standing, each with a large glass container, some of them emitting a soft glow. The people around you begin looking around, examining the glass container, which appears to have some sort of apparatus under it and on its sides. There are also some runes on the wall, as well as a round knob and an empty iron torch sconce. What would you like to do?
Do the runes look familiar?
Make an Arcana check.
16 plus no bonus to Arcana whatsoever.
You think there's some magical runes, but you also recognize that mixed in among them are some other runes that are old-fashioned, but you recognize them. Most of the runes that you recognize are around this knob on the wall. It's a round knob with a triangle on top of it. It's stuck to the wall. And the runes, you think, are an old numbering system. It's long ago been replaced by the numbering system that is currently used by your world, but it's an old numbering system that you learned about in school, and the triangle on the knob is currently pointing to the number 1. And the other runes around the dial read stop, 1/4, 1/2, 1, 2, 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. Judging by the dust that has settled on the knob and in the ruins, none of this has been touched in a very long time.
So is the numbers of the runes that do we recognize those from the cities of 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Yes, they are similar to that. They are a similar numbering system to what is used to represent 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the number cities.
How large is this dial in reference to our new forms?
It would comfortably fit in your hand.
Okay.
You could easily turn it to one of the other numbers. It is currently pointing at 1.
You're still regularly short.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. In proportion
Yes.
to everyone else, Ethelflaed is still of a slightly shorter stature.
Oh.
So what about the devices below the what shape is our world? Is it a round? Is it?
Yes. So if you look straight if you look straight at it from above, it is circular. The base of it is circular.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It narrows. So if do you know what an Erlenmeyer flask looks like? Think of like a scientific flask, a glass flask that's wide at the bottom, and then it narrows the top, and then it has a little neck
A longer
Mhm.
neck.
at the top,
Mhm.
and then a little lip around that. That's basically what it looks like, but huge,
Like a straight slope?
like a straight slope.
Like the Erlenmeyer flask is kind of triangle shaped
Yes,
if you look at it from the side.
Yes, yes, with
Okay.
a little neck at the top. That's right.
So you said that there were mechanical devices on the bottom and on the sides?
You can hear some kind of mechanical device underneath it, and there is some sort of apparatus on the sides. And there are also 50 other people crammed into this alcove, sort of spilling out into the hallway, and they're all sort of looking around, not saying anything. Everyone looks kind of shocked.
Can we see the western and eastern bubbles in the glass?
Oh, all right. You want to start examining the glass. So start saying, excuse me, and force your way past the people. Do a perception check.
That is a 21.
All right. So I'll tell you several things. So first of all, this giant glass container is sitting silently before you, except for this slight mechanical sound coming from underneath it. It's raised about a foot off the ground, sitting on an iron frame. So it's not sitting flush on the floor. There's an iron frame holding it off the floor. There are 4 black tubes, each about an inch in diameter, that emerge from the darkness under the container, and they curve up towards its sides. One of the tubes occasionally sprays a slight mist out of it. Now, there's no real light here except for those little twinkling lights above and this torch sconce. Are you using anything for light?
You say that it's pretty dark in here.
Yeah, it's very dark.
Can I grab? Are there other torch sconces on the wall that are lit?
No, none of the torches are lit.
Then no, I guess I don't have a source of light.
Okay. All right. So, well, in that case, we're gonna do disadvantage on your perception check then.
All right.
So roll again and see how you do.
Oh, and that's a natural 1.
All right. So yeah, you can see that this giant container is here, but you can't see well enough to pick up much from it. It's just too dark.
Do I have my belongings?
Yeah, you have all your stuff.
Well, speaking of stuff that I have in my bag, I have that continual candle, and I could maybe light that with like a firebolt cantrip.
You can light your continual candle.
Okay. Does magic seem to work outside of the bottle?
In fact, yes.
Okay.
There's a brief flash of heat as you use a little fire bolt, and the people around you say, "Whoa, watch it!"
So I light the continual candle, and then I use that to shine and investigate the bottle. Should I do another perception check?
Sure, do a check now without disadvantage.
Well, that's a 7 now.
Okay. Here's something you figure out. These tubes on the outside of the container that sort of they reach down below the container, and then they poke in through the sides. They appear to be flexible, and one of them is sort of throbbing slightly with the rhythm of the sound of the machinery coming from under the glass container. And there looks like there's some liquid spraying out of it. And as you look closer at it, there appears to be a crack or a rip in this tube, and some black mold appears to have formed around the crack.
Am I up here too? If I kind of elbow my way.
Yeah.
So I look at it, and I look at Paxton. Do you have any tinkerer skills?
No, but I have mending. The mending cantrip. Actually, I might have tinker tools.
Oh, no, Finn never got them. He wanted to, but he never did, if you're looking at Finn's supplies.
Okay.
Try it.
Yeah, is there if it's throbbing, can I investigate the hose and see if there's anything that I can like scrape off the mold, or I guess if it's throbbing, I could just mend the little slice in the hose.
You could mend the slice. You could try that. You want to cast?
Aster.
Yes.
We need you to. You know how you like to soil things?
Yes.
Can you clean things?
Yes, I can.
All right, come here.
And then I go over to Tara,
Mhm.
like in like a jaunt. A jaunt over.
It's hard to jaunt. There are a lot of people here. They're starting to spread out into the hallway, though.
Actually, how are the people look? How do they look? How do the people look?
So they're all pretty shocked, and they're starting to murmur amongst each other, amongst themselves, trying to figure out where they are. They're all trying to figure out what happened, where they are, who you are that seem to be taking charge, looking at things.
I'm wiping off my pirate makeup.
Yes, yeah.
As I walk to them, can I play the Guitar of the Bazaar?
It's a little crowded, but I guess you could, yeah. What are you going to play? What are you doing? Calm emotion?
Exactly, yeah.
All right. Make your performance check.
I want to calm people down. All right. Let's see.
As Tara sees him taking out his guitar, she's like, I don't think we have time for a song.
I don't have time for your demo.
20.
20, great.
Nice.
So do they get a saving throw?
Charisma throw. A creature can choose to fail this saving throw if it wishes to.
They have no reason to resist this. So, okay, you calm them down.
Yeah, just a melodic little tune.
All right. Well, as you're making your way through the crowd, you hear a familiar voice, and it says, "Okay, people, if you're going to stand around here doing nothing, do it in the hallway. There's no space to have a good look around. I want to inspect this machine. Yeah.
I whisper to everyone who can hear me, do not let her near this.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So I think I've made it to Terra.
All right. Yeah, you've made it to Terra.
What can I do for you, Terra?
I'm gonna point out the mold.
Oh, okay. I do a little wave of my fingers and I cast press.
Prestidigitation?
Yes, that one.
That one? I see. Prestidigitation. All right. Well, you clean up the mold in the area. Now you can see it is a pristine-looking hose, except for the crack in it.
Are you going to tag me in?
Yes.
High five. And then I cast Mending on the tube.
All right. The tube seals up. So it's a strange material. It's a little bit flexible. It's not something that you've seen before.
Now, my guess here is that 4 rivers, 4 tubes, one of them's broken. I'm thinking that we just fixed the broken river, but there was another river that had just broken whenever we left, right?
Correct.
I look at the other tubes much more closely to see if any of them have cracks in them.
Go ahead, now that you know specifically what you're looking for, make an investigation check.
Right, my investigation is +2.
And you can do it with advantage because you're looking for something specific.
Okay, that's good, because that roll sucked. All right, that's going to be a 16.
All right, so while comparing this tube to the others, you notice that one of the other tubes is occasionally leaking a small dribble of water from a similar crack. This crack is much smaller, and it looks like the material comprising the tube has weathered. By comparison, the larger crack in the other tube looked smoother, almost like it was cut. Like the first tube, the liquid seems to leak with the rhythm of the machinery sounds.
I cast Mending on that as well.
All right. You don't see any sign of mold or anything on this one, and it seals up.
Terra is going to look into the hole on top of the glass.
Well, it's got a steel plate on top of it.
Oh, okay. Well, so there used to be an eye seen from it somehow.
Ah, yes. That's
So-
actually on the side. That's not actually at the very top. That's actually sort of up and on the side.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
want to look in the hole.
All right, you're going to look for the oculus. Paxton, you said you were also looking for bubbles, right?
Yes.
Real quickly about the bubbles, then we'll get back to the oculus. Looking from the outside of the container, the glass appears to be about 4 inches thick. Pretty thick. But you do see there are 2 large bubbles, or flaws in the glass, on nearly opposite sides of the container. There appears to be another smaller bubble, barely visible in the glass toward the bottom, and there are a few tiny bubbles scattered near the top of the glass. So they're much smaller. But there are these 2 large imperfections in the glass. Tara, you are looking through the oculus.
I want to see if I see like the water start to flow again after
Okay.
we fix that stuff.
All right, so about 4 feet up the side of the container, there's a round tubular object that has been affixed and protrudes a few inches out of the glass. It kind of reminds you of a telescope. You look through it. It's a little bit hard to get up on the glass and look through it. It was hard to see through the glass before due to its thickness, but now it is as though you are back inside the container, looking down on the world from on high. In fact, this viewing port can be adjusted, you realize, allowing you to point the lens at different parts of the world. It does not seem to allow you to adjust the magnification very much, though. You can definitely make out the large number cities, 1, 2, 3, and 4, as well as Arrival. Even from here, you can see the tarps all over it. You can see the dim sunlight coming down. Other inhabited areas are more conspicuous by their effect on the natural landscape, rather than being directly observable. For example, roads are cutting through forests, and large farming areas are visible as patchworks of huge rectangles. As you look through the tube, you realize there is a light off to the side in your peripheral vision in the tube. And yes, it does look like the water is starting to come back through all 4 rivers now.
Does that mean we just beat the game?
All right, thanks for listening, everyone.
So I kind of, pull my head back and I say, "Hey, it worked. The river is flowing." And but then I look back down because I'm gonna try and take a look at Arrival and see if I can see kind of like the remnants of the glass jar and like what's going on there?
You can't see zoomed in that much. You can
Okay.
you can see where it is, but you can't see that much. But again, there is a light flashing off to the side in your peripheral vision in this tube.
What color is the light? Is it artificial?
All right, well, is Athelflav want to look in there?
Yeah.
You're gonna need a boost.
Give me a boost, guys.
Oh yeah. Well, I hear Appleflat, and so I pull back and I try and help her up so she
All
can
right.
see.
You help her up. The light is actually coming from some glowing lettering. It says, "Buffer overfloweth. Interface visage as shown." And below that, there's an illustration showing a cylinder and a person looking through it with a hand on either side of the tube.
It's a picture of a person?
Yeah, there's a picture
Okay.
of a person, an illustration of a person looking. There's an illustration of a cylinder, and there's an illustration of a person looking through it, and this person has their hand on either side of the tube.
Are you saying when there's a picture of a person, it's like an icon?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. There's an illustration, an abstract representation of a person putting both hands on a cylinder and looking through it.
I tell the rest of the group what I see.
All right.
What do you think it means, guys?
Can I?
Put your hands on the side of the tube.
Okay.
All right. You're going to put your hands on the side of the tube. All right. You suddenly hear a voice in your head, and the voice says,
Prepareth for remembrance anon.
It said, prepares for remembrance anon. What does that mean?
Your mind is filled with a flood of images and sounds, many of them unpleasant. Loud battles dominate, but here are also scenes of political intrigue taking place in various courts and councils, scenes of large ships launching, tall towers being erected. Almost all of them seem to present these views as though the viewer were not actually part of the action, but some distance away watching others take part. The deluge of information is beginning to get overwhelming. It's hard to keep focused on what you're seeing and hearing, and your head is beginning to hurt.
I pull away.
All right, you pull away.
I tell them, it's really all too much to take in. It's all this unfortunate stuff going on and fighting and battles and it's just too much. Do I recognize anything from what Dunstan told me?
Make a history check.
Okay. 19.
All right. You recognize some of these events. There are some battles that took place quite a while in the past, but they were big, important events in the history of the world. You recognize some of the ships being launched as being Iron Empire ships that were relatively famous. Yeah, you know about some of these events. You think that you recognize them, although you weren't there yourself, of course, but you think that these were important events in world history. Well, again, you hear that voice. Hey, what? What are you doing up there? Hey, Athelflav, is that
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad to see
Hey, Apollina.
Tara. Are you all here?
Yep. It's all of it. Well, not
Wow.
lumping. I don't think. I hope not. Well, I mean, I hope so.
I'm so glad to see you all again.
It's Epilema.
Oh, weirdo.
Hey, how
glad to
you
see you.
doing?
Where's the big armored guy?
I'm over here. How you doing, Epilema?
Oh, so good to see you guys. I'm glad you made it out of Iron Empire okay.
Are you?
Yeah.
Tara has dropped Appleflat and has her hand on her hip and is not looking happy with Epilema.
Yeah. I was a little worried about whether those disguises were gonna work, but I made a good distraction, didn't I? Yeah.
It looked like you soiled yourself, Epilema, in the middle of that battle.
I thought that was just somebody's blood getting spilled on me or something. I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah, I showed that captain who's boss though. Yeah, I kicked his rear end around, and then they made me captain, and I got my own ship, and yeah. And then
What?
I was on the ship, and then, well, some personal stuff happened, and I ended up out here, and yeah.
What exactly was your distraction plan? Because it didn't look great.
Well, what I was doing was I was pointing back toward the city and saying, look, if you want to capture those people who are, it's probably a reward for those people who killed a bunch of guards. Yeah. And I said, if you go back over that way, you'll be able to catch them. They're over there by the city.
You pointed at us.
Well, you were back in the direction of the city, but you were in disguise. I didn't really think that they'd they'd do anything. Right? You had disguises on.
Yeah. All right.
Do I believe her?
Make an insight check.
Can I make one too or give her advantage?
Sure, you can both make insight checks if you want.
Yeah, I didn't do great. I'm squinting my eyes because I got an 8, so I'm just like,
I didn't do much better. I got an 11.
Yeah, as far as you can tell, she's telling the truth.
Can I do one?
Sure.
Okay.
I really should roll it, I guess, since you
Oh.
wouldn't know if you failed or not. But it's okay.
It's 10
10?
total.
Yeah. You all think that she's telling the truth. She seems sincere.
all
I
right.
don't-
I feel maybe a little bit bad about my accusatory tone, but I don't, not enough to apologize.
I messaged to Paxton. I shouldn't have soiled her.
Yeah, I don't do an inside check because I forgive her for whatever she might have done. If she did something.
Typical cleric.
Can I call everybody, including Epilema, to me? Guys, can you come
What is it,
here?
weirdo?
And I'm gonna whisper to them all. So when I was little, my papa Gaston used to have this little ant farm that he'd keep in a plasticky glass case. Plastic doesn't exist here, I don't think. In a glass case. And he would love to look at the little ants going around, building this little farm, this little world inside the case. And it hit me that someone is looking through this tube thing and watching us in fascination. And I'm just afraid that there's someone here right now.
In our group?
No, someone here other than the people in this room who have been looking onto the world. And I'm starting to get nervous. I don't know if whoever's been watching us is good or bad.
Maybe it's ants. It's the revenge of the ants.
Okay.
Why is everyone laughing? I'm serious.
So there are other alcoves with other worlds. I want to go to another one.
No,
and
now Epilema says, no, wait a moment here. Did you all think that I was going to sell you out? I'm picking up something here. Did you think that I was pointing at you and I was going to sell all you out?
yes.
Oh, if I didn't have such a low opinion of all of you, my feelings would be hurt.
I messaged to Aster, you might want to do another calm emotions.
I start playing.
She's not getting angry.
Oh, okay.
She's just teasing you.
I'm disappointed because I wanted to start dancing.
I walk towards Epilema and I say, I'm just glad that you're safe. And then I give her a big, strong hug.
You too, buddy. She pats you on the back and pulls away.
Crisis averted.
And other things that are going on. Paxton, as you're standing out here, you sense sort of a growing pressure in your head. I'd like you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Is it in any specific part of my head?
Just your whole head's starting to hurt.
Okay, is it kind of like that buzzing whenever I got near the bubbles?
Yeah.
Okay, in a what check?
A wisdom saving throw.
Oh. Okay. A natural 20 plus 6.
All right,
Ooh.
you're able to power through it. You feel a growing pressure in your head. You can feel something's going on in there. There are some voices shouting at you, but there are so many and they are so loud that you cannot make out any single voice. You begin to feel dizzy, but you lean against the wall and focus on the cold stone and the voices recede. And then a moment later, there's a single voice, and it says clearly,
Welcome home. We shall be in touch, but you must choose.
And that's it.
that's it. And you feel the pressure fading away, but there's still, you feel like you've got access to something that you didn't have before. You can feel divine power around you waiting to be used that you didn't feel connected to before, but now you feel connected to it.
Okay, I think I know what that means. I don't say anything about that to the rest of the party though, because I don't want to freak them out, but I feel like that snaps me out of paying attention to Epilema and catching up and everything, and I suddenly want to look through that Oculus because I feel like maybe if there is a flood of memories or a flood of scenes that might trigger some things that I've forgotten.
Okay. You're going to go look through the Oculus?
Yeah, and I'm going to put my hands on either side like I saw Athelflad do.
Okay. Athelflad, I'm going to cut to you real quick while he moves over to the Oculus.
Mhm.
As you're sort of moving around through this crowd, which has started to spill out into the hallway and look at the other containers, there's a clatter next to your foot, and you see the hilt of your dagger rolling around on the floor near your foot,
Ah!
and the glass blade is not attached.
What the? Where'd it go? Where? It's completely disappeared. It's not.
Yep, the blade
separated?
appears to be gone. The hilt is on the floor. Your scabbard's still at your waist.
Egbert?
And you can, as you put your hand on the scabbard to look around, you can just barely hear Egbert's voice.
Hey, what's going on? You're suddenly so far away. Did you drop me? What's going on?
No, where are you?
What? I'm here. What?
What? Can you describe your surroundings?
No, I can't see.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. I don't know where you are.
Hello?
Hello?
He seems to be in the scabbard somewhere, but you don't see him.
Is he in sounding like he's in a tube or far
Yeah,
away?
it sounds like he's far away. Yeah.
So he's not in the scabbard. I kind of just.
I mean, you don't see the blade in the scabbard anymore. You see the hilt in the ground, but the glass part is gone.
So I checked the hilt to see if he's in there somewhere.
No,
Nothing?
no.
Huh. What's around me?
Just a bunch of people.
So I start searching through the crowd, calling for him, like, Egbert!
He seems to be the same distance away from you the whole time. Everywhere you walk, he just keeps saying,
I'm here. Where are you? What's going on?
What?
All right, Paxton, you decide to look through the tube.
Mm-hmm.
You look through it. You can see the same stuff they saw. You can see there's this light off to the side, which shows a picture of someone putting both their hands on the tube. Are you going to do that?
Yes,
So make an intelligence saving throw.
but I'm not proficient in that.
Oh, sorry.
That is a 14.
Okay. So scenes, just like Athelflad saw, scenes start flashing by. A similar variety of scenes, battles, ships being launched, buildings being constructed. In a couple cases, you see some what look like wizards doing research. But as you watch and these scenes flash by faster and faster, and you're able to continue focusing on them with that saving throw, you're able to handle this volume of information. The number of viewpoints gradually starts shrinking. Eventually, it settles down to perhaps 10 people who look like they're traveling around the world. It's pretty easy to see the spread and growth of population inside this glass container and the growth of buildings and other infrastructure. You get a sense, however, of growing dread and anger from the remaining perspectives, and your head is now starting to throb in pain. You feel like it might explode with information as you continue to watch. Make one more intelligence saving throw.
Ooh, that's a 7.
Ooh.
All right, so you can't quite manage to keep all this straight in your head. You feel dizzy and sort of fall back down, and Epilema catches you. Oh, what's up, tough guy?
I don't know. I got a headache.
Oh, all right. Well, you take a little rest. I'm gonna look around under this container here. I want to see what's under this this iron stuff down here.
Nope, don't touch
Yep,
it.
I'm
Don't
having a
touch it.
look.
Nope, please
Uh-oh.
don't.
Yep, I'm crawling under.
I cast command. Definitely don't want to do drop.
All
I'm gonna
right.
do halt. So you speak a one-word command to a creature you can see within range.
Yep.
Target must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw,
DC.
and the DC is 13.
She says, "Halt! Why would I halt?"
I'm just asking you nicely.
All right. Well, I don't know what you're going on about. I'm gonna look at this. It sounds like a pump. I'm gonna go check this out. So, it reminds me of something I've seen before.
Just please be careful because
Anyone have a
everyone
light?
that we've ever known lives inside that glass container.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I use dancing lights and send it towards.
Oh, thanks, weirdo. That's great.
You welcome, buddy.
Yeah, it's a pump. Yeah, I've seen this before. It's like a, not this specific thing. This is pretty fancy, but this is a fancy force pump. I don't see what's keeping it running though. It must be like magic. They should have gone with like a positive displacement pump though. I think there's a filtration system of some kind too. Yeah.
How does Epilema know so much about pumps?
I just
She did
shrugged
say
my
she was a
shoulders.
captain.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Well, I guess it could have been captain of guard, not a ship. But I don't, if it was a ship captain.
There's a bottle down here.
A bottle.
Yeah, there's like an empty bottle. Hold on. And she picks it up. You hear some glass rattling around. She crawls back out. Yeah, there's a bottle. Look at this thing. She'll hand it to, I don't know. She'll hand it to Tara.
Okay.
Looks like a potion bottle.
Anything
but
in
it's
it?
empty.
Yeah, it looks empty. The top has been unstopped.
Can I tell what might have been in it, or if there was ever
Make,
anything in it?
You could make an Arcana check or an Herbalism check.
7.
Nah, you don't know.
Where was it exactly?
It's just lying on the ground like somebody dropped it there.
Oh,
That's weird.
so it wasn't like positioned in any.
No,
certain
it was
way?
just laying on the ground down there.
Okay, I'm gonna like get down on my knees and look under
Okay.
the thing.
Yeah, you can see that under this steel frame, under this glass container, there's a wooden box, and it has these tubes emerging from it. The sides of the box appear to be removable, and in fact, Epilema has removed one side, and you can see some sort of machinery inside it. But it's hard to figure out exactly what it is. It's making machinery sounds. It's making little motions as the machinery jerks a little bit. You don't know exactly what it is. Epilema says it's a pump. Specifically, she says that it is a fancy force pump and not a positive displacement pump.
I don't have any reason to disbelieve her. I'm just looking to see if there's anywhere this flask might have gone.
No, it doesn't look like it plugs into anything.
Okay. So I'm gonna get up and I want to go to one of the other alcoves because I
Okay.
want to see if there were any other of these that seemed to be broken.
Okay. All right. You walk to one of the other alcoves. You can see that again. This crowd is starting to spread out and look at them as well. And as you start to walk and look at one of the others, you can hear a voice call out, and this large orc says, "All right, I think I better take command here and make sure that we all we don't do anything stupid. I am Vizier Olgabar, the Emperor Stoneslinger's chief advisor. I think I'm taking charge. So I think you're all gonna just stay right here and do what I say."
I mean,
This
what if
isn't the Empire's territory.
Well, the former emperor trusted me with every little decision. So yeah, maybe the new emperor doesn't like me as much, but the former emperor trusted me with everything, and I was successful. I was the cause of his great success. So I think you can trust me to make the right decision. So I'm gonna insist that you all start listening to me. And the other people are all sort of looking around at each other.
I'm going to continue doing what I was going to do.
Yeah.
All right.
Same.
There's actually a dwarf that you recognize here, Tara. There is a dwarf who was you think he's a banker, and he's looking rather skeptically at this orc, and looking around, sort of fingering the wall, the stonework, and you think he's a banker from Arrival. You think you've seen him before, and Aster. There's a man who's sort of lurking around the edges of the crowd that you think you recognize.
Oh,
And you think this man is Nondal the Nimble.
Nondal the Nimble.
Nondal the Nimble. You've heard of him. He's a famous cat burglar and cut purse and general troublemaker.
My kind of guy.
How does he associate with Gaston?
Nondal
to
the
be-
Nimble is known for being less scrupulous than Gaston.
Oh,
Yeah.
so not.
In fact,
chivalrous.
roll an insight check.
Okay. 15 plus 6.
Yeah, you're pretty sure he's sizing everyone up here. He's kind of keeping back and looking at everyone. Yeah. In fact, you hear him talking. Someone comes up to him and starts talking to him. He's calling himself Grimbid the Merchant, but he's pretty clearly sizing everyone up. And he notices you watching him, and he winks at you.
I wink back.
All right. Most people are still pretty disoriented, but yeah, the Vizier Olgabar is pretty unhappy that you're ignoring him and just walking around doing what you want. But everyone's pretty much ignoring him. So you step out into the hallway, and
Can I just keep my eye on Nando? the whole time?
yeah, you can keep your eye on Nondel the Nimble.
Okay.
And I assume none of you are messing with the knob on the wall.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Where's Epilema again?
She's looking around. She's following Terra around right now.
Oh, okay.
So the hallway stretches both left and right into darkness. You can see those twinkling lights up in the sky through a hole in the ceiling, maybe 30 feet to your left. The hallway there, by that hole in the ceiling, it appears to be filled with rubble. Across the hall from your alcove is another glass container, though this one appears to be dark, and there's no sound of machinery coming from it. And there are runes above that alcove, just like your own. In fact, you recognize they are numbers. There's a number above your alcove. That number says 83. And the alcove across from it is 84. And down the hallway, the other alcoves have similar numbers.
Ascending or descending?
To your left, the numbers are ascending. That's in the direction of the hole in the ceiling. The numbers are ascending. They're rising.
Okay. So I'm gonna try and look at the container of 84.
Okay, you look at 84. It looks like this one is just dark. In fact, you don't see any, not even like a dim night, evening time light, right? No light coming from the sun of this world at all. And it feels cold.
I light a torch.
Okay, you light a torch.
Is there a pump system that's not running underneath
Yeah,
it?
you look down underneath it. There's a similar box, and there are similar tubes coming out of it that reach into the sides of this container, but the box is not making any noise, and the sun is not lighting up.
I'm examining the tubes to see if they are damaged.
Make an investigation check.
3.
They look fine.
You said Epilema's following me, right?
Yep, she's looking around. She's like, "Want me to check the pump for this one too?"
Yeah. Come look at this.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, this pump's off.
Yeah. It's just turned off.
It's just off. I mean, it's not even moving slow. It's not making any noise. It's just off. I don't know if it's broken or what.
Okay.
I can break it open if you want.
Can you turn it on?
I don't see any switches for that, except there's that knob on the wall. I could turn the knob on.
Oh, what is? I look at the knob. What is that?
It is set to stop.
Okay. Tara goes over and touches the knob,
Okay.
and she turns it to to a quarter.
Turn it to a quarter. All right. The pump starts making some noise, but the light does not come on. In fact, Epilema says, "You know what? I think that the little sun ring, it looks like it's gone. Like that steel lid, it's just sitting right in the glass. It doesn't have that sun ring like ours did. Yeah.
Huh.
It's like there's no light up thingy there.
Maybe that one wasn't supposed to have one.
Maybe. Should we leave it on, or should we turn it back off, or what should we do?"
I switch it up to a half.
Okay. The pump starts moving more quickly. You can hear it making noises more quickly. And then it sort of starts speeding up and then slowing down and speeding up and slowing down and making some weird noises. And Epilema says, that doesn't sound right. I think you should turn it off.
I turn it off.
Yeah, good idea. All right, you turn it off.
What's the worst that could happen of a leak?
Where are we all in position of this room now?
I guess for simplicity, let's go with, if you're around your own glass container, let's say that's to the west of where Tara and Epilema are looking at this jar to your east. And it's not actually necessarily east and west. I'm just saying for coherence, picturing it in your head, right? They are across the hallway from you in this other alcove looking at this other container.
So Paxton notices that Epilema and Tara are talking at the bottle that's across the hall, and as he walks over and notices that the pump is running, he wants to look through the Oculus on this one.
Okay. You look through the Oculus. For this one, you get a series of similar scenes. They don't quite look like your world, but similar groups of people doing similar things. And over time, you get the sense that things in this world are going haywire. Like the sun's not working properly, and water is spurting out of its rivers in unpredictable ways, and then pretty quickly everything just stops.
Stops.
Yeah, so you stop getting reports, you stop getting images. It just seems like everything just sort of freezes and everything stops.
So that is whenever I'm like looking at everything through like flood of memories mode.
Right, yes.
If I'm not looking at it that way and I'm
okay.
just looking into the state of things as they are right now, what do I see?
It just looks like a dark, dead world.
Okay. Huh.
You don't see any signs of anything growing and living. It just looks all kind of brown and barren.
Well, I look to Tara and I'm like, I don't think there's anything going on in this world.
Well, let's take a look at the others.
All right.
Yeah.
If you want to just go in numerical order, the next one is World 85. This one is full of water all the way up to the top. And it is also set to stop. And Epilema says, yeah, this looks like a pump malfunction to me.
I look across the way to 86.
86. So in this one, the light appears to be functioning, and the pump appears to be functioning.
And what does the knob say?
The knob says 1.
Okay.
You want to look inside? What do you want to do?
I want to look at the wires to the pumps and see if there's any damage to those.
Okay, do an investigation check.
I ask Epilema to help me.
Sure.
I got a 4.
Yeah, she's, I don't know. I don't know how this stuff works. I mean, it looks fine to me.
Okay, I'm gonna peek inside without holding it.
Okay, just looking
but
through
just
it.
peek.
Yeah, so you look inside. You see that, first of all, you don't see any sign of sentient races. You see no structures, no buildings. There's an island in the middle, just like Arrival, but there's no sign of tarps or buildings or anything there. You can see a little bit of those big numbers, right? But they appear to have grown over with plant life of some kind. It looks like this world is devoid of civilized life.
So rivers are running and it's lush, but it's just no like buildings or
That's
anything.
right.
Okay.
At least not anymore.
So, based on the description I hear Tara explain, and based on what Paxton saw whenever he looked through the Oculus of his world, and then I think it was World 85 or 84 maybe.
84, yeah.
84. All of them had 4 pumps to the side. Did they all have the same general shape in the sense that it was like there was an island in the middle and then 4 continents?
Yep, that's right.
Did they have the same cities with big numbers?
Yes, they all have 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Huh, okay. I tell Tara, I don't quite know how to explain this, but it seems like they're running different versions of our world over and over. Like these are all the same world, but where they tried to maybe reconfigure things.
The ants?
I think we're the ants in this situation.
Yes.
I look at my hands.
I'm getting scared, Paxton.
Well, we haven't found anything to be scared of yet necessarily.
We could do something like this. It'd
Now,
have to be-
across from 86, the one that looked like it had no civilization in it, just wildlife or plants. Across from this is this opening. When you go to look at 86, you can see that there's this massive hole in the ceiling of the hallway here. And across from it, where there should be an alcove, there's just open sky and the wall has blown out. There's just a big opening there. It looks like there may have been a similar alcove there, but wherever 87 was, there is now just rubble. And there's a bit of its pedestal sitting there on the ground, but you don't see anything else. I'm sorry. That's not 87. That's 84, 85, 86, 87, 88. No, I'm sorry. That's next to 86. Next to 86, which is where 88 would be, there's this big opening. 87, the ceiling collapsed partly here due to the ruin where 88 should be. And that has partially knocked this world off of its pedestal. And it looks like as it fell off of its pedestal, all the interior contents got all jumbled up, and now it's just a mess. The tubes have ripped off. The pump is not working. 87 is just sort of knocked over. So across from the 87 alcove is an enormous gaping hole in the wall and ceiling of this building. It appears that something exploded outward, blasting stone, rubble, dirt, sand, and other substances through the wall. The ceiling has partially collapsed here, and there are puddles in the floor, probably from a recent rainfall. The sky outside is dark and cloudless. There's no sun ring as far as you can tell. There are, however, millions of strange, dim, tiny lights hanging in the sky. Some of them appear to twinkle or shimmer. The rhythmic roaring sound you heard when you first emerged from your world is louder here, and it seems to be coming from outside the building, somewhere in the direction of that pile of rubble. The air here is moist, and there's an unfamiliar smell to it. You think you can see more structures outside, but it's very dark out there, and the hallway continues past more glass containers.